Hi friends, it's Auntie Cuckoo here, and today I'm sharing with you all a vintage Halloween inspired DIY using things from the Dollar Tree. So I am getting ready to decorate for Halloween for the second year in a row, and I'm looking to add that vintage vibe to a few of the areas in my home. And the vintage price tag doesn't bode well with my pocketbook. So I've been looking on Pinterest and at a few images, trying to figure out how I could create a few pieces on my own for not a lot of money. And I came up with this idea to use some boxes from the Dollar Tree. So let's get right into what you'll need to recreate these vintage looking Halloween boxes. So this is a look at a few things we will need. Starting with some decorative paper. You can get yours anywhere. I happened upon a sale at Hobby Lobby when all of these sheets were 50% off. So they range from 30 to 40 cents each. Did not end up using that black boa, but these are the boxes I picked up at my Dollar Tree to work with. I pulled out a dirty old baseball from our garage, a votive holder that I also found at the Dollar Tree, some ribbon from the Dollar Tree, some scissors, and some glue, just for painting the faces on your jack-o'-lanterns, and a few little finishing touches, and plenty of glue. Now, I haven't Modge Podged in quite a while, but you can pick some up in a small container from the Dollar Tree. And so I did go ahead and get a head start on the base of the square box just to kind of feel out any technique I might need. It's pretty easy. You put some Modge Podge down and then add your paper and then go ahead and do a thin layer of Modge Podge right on top of the paper. We're going to be repeating this process for each of our boxes. Now to cover the round boxes, I just kind of marked off on my paper at different points, and then I took something with a straight edge to create the line. I went ahead and cut that out, and for that box you will need two pieces to wrap around the entire surface of the box. It's a little bit wider than the others. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and add your Modge Podge just like the square box. Go ahead and roll on your paper, and then when you run out of this piece and still have some box to cover, just try to match up the polka dots or any kind of print you would have so that they are somewhat matching. Once your paper is attached, go ahead and give the outer surface of the paper a thin coat of Modge Podge. You're just going to be repeating this process on every surface. Go ahead and trace out your lid on a piece of paper that you would like to be on the top. Cut it out and repeat the process of Modge Podging the lid, adding your paper, and then a little more Modge Podge on top. For the taller box, the only thing you'll have to do differently is remove the ribbon. Now I will tell you I learned very quickly that that was adhered with some very powerful tape that stuck to my paper. So be careful when you're doing that. It actually kind of snagged my paper a little. I'm just kind of giving the right size to the paper with a few measurements, using my straight edge to cut it out, and well, you know the process. Now for the lid of the tall container, I just repeated the process. You only have to cover the colored portion of the lid. It does sort of have two pieces, but the yellow portion does fit right on inside of the other side. When you're done covering it, go ahead and give the top a quick coat of black paint. Now it's time for trimming the boxes. So I just used some of my Dollar Tree ribbon to create sort of a little ruffled effect by cutting the ribbon in half so that it's the correct size, crimping it over on itself, adding my glue, and repeating this all the way around all the boxes. So if you don't want the ruffled effect, you could just hot glue it straight around the edge. For the base of my hat, I used the lid to a food container. but don't paint yours. We'll cover this at the end of the video. Now for your witch hats, I just used my Raisin Bran cereal box. I went ahead and created a cone shape using my hot glue and trimmed it to the size I liked. Once you have the correct size, go ahead and cover in some paper. Now remember, these are going to fit on the heads of the votive holder, which will be the pumpkin man, as well as the top of the baseball for the black cat. Once you've made your hats, you can go ahead and get started with painting faces on your pumpkin man as well as your cat. So for this, I just pulled up an image on my phone for some inspiration, went ahead and added a smile, and then very quickly just added a triangle nose and a couple of eyes. It's pretty easy when you just stick to simple shapes like triangles. So I did step away from the project for a few hours. I had to make dinner, and now I'm back at it, adding the ruffle to our pumpkin man. So many of you mentioned in the comments of my last Halloween DIY from Collaboween to use the wire as part of the Dollar Tree ribbon to sort of create the ruffle, and I had never done that, so thank you guys so much for that tip. I did go ahead and do that here. I will tell you, when I used the polka dot ribbon, I could not free up the wire. It was really stuck in there, so it works better with some ribbons, but I will say with this one, it worked beautifully. Now I just used my hot glue gun to attach my pumpkin face to the top of my box, being careful to where I want the front of the box to be and where the pumpkin's face is. Now you'll see I did use some chevron ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and when it was done, I just didn't like it, so I pulled it off and I just glued on more paper. This is just a Modge Podge food container lid, but you could even use cardboard. And after some trial and error, I figured out that you don't need to paint it. You're going to cover it in paper or ribbon of your liking. Now moving on to our kitty cat. I have quite a few old baseballs, and there's something that I wanted to reuse, and I did get this idea off of Pinterest. So I'm just going to make this little baseball into a kitty cat for Halloween. Start out with some white eyeballs, go ahead and add some green irises, and then we will go back with some black to add some pupils. Now for your nose, go ahead and draw out a triangle. I used an orangey pink and then drew a line straight down before adding the smile. Now I went ahead and added some pupils, and I think I might need to go back and add some whiskers, but being that the cat is black, I might have to do them in gray. Now on to the collar of the cat. I used the polka dot ribbon from the Dollar Tree, just crimping it and hot gluing it together to create a ruffle until it was long enough to fit around the base of the cat's head. Once that was done, I glued it to the baseball and then glued the baseball onto the top of the container. Super easy. Now some cat ears. I did pull out a little bit of black felt and cut out 2 little ears to attach to the top of the baseball. Once I had those glued on, I did go ahead and attach a little hat that I had made for the cat. Again, just repeating the process of rolling up the cardboard cone, covering it with any paper or ribbon you like. Once it's ready to go, you just hot glue it right where you want it, behind the cat's ears, and it's done. The only other additions I made were some little crimped circles of paper. I just felt like they needed jazzed up just a little bit. Now on my pumpkin man, I did add some polka dot ribbon around the brim of the lid. And basically that's all there is to it. I had some little puff balls from my son's art kit that I pulled out. I remembered we had those. And I had a few black earrings that no longer had backs on them, so I added them to the circles of crimped paper. I am loving how these turned out. They just have that sort of vintage, old school, almost like a spooky circus feel to them. and I'm just really excited to use them as part of my Halloween decor. I am thinking about getting to switching things out here very soon, so I will be sharing a Halloween home decor tour with you guys shortly. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I created these fun little boxes that you could use for storage, maybe hide some treats in it for mom, or just use as part of your decor. Are you guys decorating for Halloween? If so, what's your style? I'm definitely going for the vintage look. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon in the next video.